you go bankrupt. And there's a penalty for bankruptcy. Your credit sucks. You're very difficult to get a loan. Very, very difficult for people to trust you again. You have to earn that trust back. And even then, it's always going to be a stain on your record.
It's absolutely, he needs money.
You think he's going
Once
broke?
Again, come on. Fighters like that always go broke.
Yeah, he's stupid. He's an idiot. He loves the fame and he loves the money. So ultimately, if you're just that money hungry and that fame hungry, you're going to just do whatever. You don't care what it is.
Joe Rogan openly criticized Jake Paul and said the lawsuits and claims of staged fights have left a lasting mark on his boxing career. Many critics believe his flashy record now feels empty because it was built on chosen opponents and promotion instead of real credibility. Even if the legal issues disappear, the public opinion will not. In fighting sports, trust is everything. Once fans lose faith in authenticity, victories lose their power and records turn into small notes rather than true legacies. That mark stays far longer than any payday ever will.
Because there's a price that you pay that is not worth it.
It was not worth it. The talk around staged fight claims exploded after the Jake Paul vs. Anthony Joshua fight, with fans pointing out what they felt were odd moments during the event. Many people questioned how Jake was able to last longer against Joshua than Francis Ngannou did, even with a clear difference in experience and strength. What was promoted as a huge showdown between a social media star and a former heavyweight champion quickly turned into heavy debate. From leaked training clips and strange betting patterns to loud voices from commentators, many started saying the event looked more like entertainment than real competition.
Take away from Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. What have we got here?
As I look at it, for the fans, it put boxing still on the map because it keeps boxing relevant. Having exhibition fights like this, different celebrities and different things like that. I look at it as a fun thing for fans and stuff like that. I don't really take it seriously, because we in the business of boxing. That right there is just exhibition stuff. But I'm hearing they say it's a real fight. But yeah, it's a real fight because both guys are getting in a fight. I'm still the one that be thinking certain things are scripted as well too. So, but we'll see. I always say may the best man win, and main thing about it, may those guys go in there and have a hell of a lot.
Many analysts have called this matchup ridiculous and pointed out the clear gap in experience, size, and background between Paul and Joshua, with several saying it felt more like a show than a real contest. A YouTuber turned boxer holding a 12-1 record stepped into the ring against a former two-time heavyweight world champion who has faced top-level fighters his entire career. Commentators repeatedly described the fight as one-sided, with some viewing Paul as a money-driven choice instead of a serious threat, which only increased the belief that the event leaned more toward entertainment than true sport.
Jake Paul, fake Paul I call him, against Anthony Joshua. Massive unit, two-time world champ, still got a big punch. I think he's mentally fragile at world level if he goes against the big guns because of the knockout, especially the Dubois knockout when he got fucking splattered. You know what I mean? In round 5, and he got hurt early on and then he got done. And he's not been in the ring for 13 months.
Yeah.
But can you see a world in which Jake Paul is competitive in this fight?
No.
How do you see the fight going if AJ takes it serious?
It would have ended quickly. Simon Jordan pushed the debate further by saying Anthony Joshua could have knocked out Jake Paul whenever he wanted but chose not to. Jordan claimed the fight was dragged out to meet Netflix demands instead of boxing standards. He said Joshua's strength, skill, and timing were far above Paul's level, and an early finish would have hurt the show and streaming numbers. Instead, the fight supposedly needed more rounds, drama, and tension to match the huge platform and worldwide audience. Although Jordan gave no solid proof, his words matched what many fans already think, that when massive money and streaming companies like Netflix are involved, entertainment can quietly come before real competition, which leaves viewers doubting how genuine the fight really was.
Paul posted on Twitter after the fight, jaw broken, heart and balls intact. That's a good thing. Time to rest, recover, and return to cruiserweight. I mean, he's coming out of it as if, well, yeah, I got battered in the end, but boy.
That's what he will do. I mean, it depends what you think this was. I mean, I never felt it was anything other than entertainment. I'm not surprised that Anthony Joshua could have knocked Jake Paul out anytime he wanted to. He didn't want to.
So why didn't he?
Because, well, when you're on a platform like Netflix that turns one-part episodes into a 6-part series, why would you think that part of their entertainment model is to have a 30-second fight? Why? You watch a Netflix series, you can watch it and you can go, well, I get the gist of it. Why have you got to turn it into 10 episodes? Because I'm dying with boredom after episode.
Are you telling me that Netflix probably emphasised, listen, guys, take this as long as you can?
Anthony Joshua didn't step, irrespective. I sat to all these guys, whether it be Spencer or Paul Smith, talking about the fact that Jake Paul couldn't run, didn't have the footwork to be able.
He clearly needs cash again. Fighters like him often run out of money sooner or later.
Look, fair play to Jake Paul. He has a lot of guts, and the fact that he wasn't carried out of this fight on a stretcher, certainly I guess you can say is a positive. But what did I think about this? What did I think about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul? Look, it felt like Anthony Joshua carried him. It felt like Jake Paul brought in as much of a negative anti-style as possible, circling away, constantly holding Joshua, constantly falling to the ground. Again, while you're certainly going to give respect for the YouTube star turned fighter for having the guts to put on this type of show and to stand in there for as long as he did until a clean right hand in the corner when Paul was absolutely exhausted, dropped him and ended the fight. This is not elite boxing. And we knew that coming in, but if these fights are going to be sanctioned as official fights, like the Mike Tyson fight from last year.
Ryan Garcia reacted on social media with a direct and bold comment that quickly drew attention across the boxing world. Garcia said he respected Paul for stepping in the ring, but followed it by comparing him to Gervonta Davis. He wrote that he believed Davis would have done far worse to Paul and likely finished the fight in a more brutal way than Joshua did. Many boxing experts agreed with that view and said this level of matchup does not represent elite boxing. Even after the fight, the criticism has not stopped, with several voices saying the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight should never have been made at all.
This fight was. I do believe it was scripted. What? And I believe that Tyson was certainly held back. What? Look, I'm a fighter and I can see it. It goes on the record and it was sanctioned. What? So Jake Paul paid to get the W on his record?
Bruh.
For what? For your own personal satisfaction?
Bruh.
I keep telling you, if you want to be a real fighter, like you say you want to be, what are you doing?
Adding to these doubts, Oscar de la Hoya spoke about Jake Paul's earlier fight with Mike Tyson and suggested that it was also staged. He claimed Paul paid Tyson to add a win to his record and said many analysts noticed Tyson holding back and not fighting with the intensity expected in a real professional match. De La Hoya stressed that this did not seem like a one-time issue and hinted at a repeated pattern of planned results throughout Paul's career.
Recently broke some news about how he spoke to one of the Paul brothers and that they had an agreement that no one was supposed to get severely injured and that the fight had to last at least through the 6th round. As I was watching the fight, I'm like, damn, it looked like Mike came out a little hot, and I saw him do this one thing where he kept biting his gloves. I know there was a big age discrepancy here, right? Jake Paul being 27, Mike Tyson being 58, of course. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, is he biting onto his glove to hold back? Because it looked like he had something there. Even some of the jabs Mike threw, I'm like, he stopped his punch. I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist here, but thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know if Mike completely exerted himself or he just got really tired.
I don't know about it being rigged or not, but I do feel bad for people who really are invested in the sport.
You want to know why I also think it might be a bit rigged? When the fight ended, Jake Paul kept calling out other fighters and he kept referencing, you guys need me, you guys need me. And I'm realizing he's meaning his money. So if boxers and people in the industry know that, hey, if we go get with Jake Paul, we'll make X.
I am not even sure anymore. Even though Tyson denied claims that the fight was planned, his showing left many fans feeling let down. People started asking if this bout should even count on his official record. For a fighter of Tyson's level, the missing intensity was easy to notice, and it placed serious doubt over how real the fight actually was.
Y'all already know I'm mad about this fight. I really wasn't even going to talk about it because I already felt like it was a setup. But when Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, it really just confirmed and solidified everything. So, Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, and I'm going to read it to social media. So, it says the rules for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight are designed to favor Jake Paul. These include: the rules are extremely favorable to Jake Paul. The contract will incentivize Mike Tyson to lose and give Jake Paul an opportunity to choose himself as a winner. The first stipulation in the contract will punish Tyson for knocking out Jake because he is paid on a sliding scale per round. If Tyson knocks Jake out in the first round, he would receive no money. If he knocks him out in the second round, he would only make a small amount of cash. For Tyson to make the most money, he needs to survive all 8 rounds, which means avoiding knocking Jake Paul out. If the fight goes to a split decision, it favors Jake Paul because the judges have to be approved by Jake Paul. I'm gonna let y'all read that. I knew it was a setup. Because you know what? Mike Tyson had a lot of open air opportunity to smash Jake Paul.
During the Jake versus Tyson fight, many critics pointed out strange rules that appeared to benefit Jake. One rule reportedly punished Tyson with a financial penalty if he knocked Paul out too early. This caused serious concern about whether the result was shaped by contract terms instead of true competition. You already know I am angry about this fight.
Going to go into this fight with Jake Paul with the same mindset. After seeing him fight on a beat on points, a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, my opinion is no. I think he feels zero fear in this fight. He's in a unique situation where he's going into a boxing ring with someone he doesn't believe deserves to be there. So is he going to be paying the price in training? Is he going to be getting those early nights? Is he going to be pushing himself and sparring to get the very best out of himself, like he did for the Ngannou fight? Unknown. I don't know. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll want to risk having any hard sparring just in case he gets injured. Because if he gets injured, he misses this $75 million payday against someone he doesn't believe will be good enough to be a legitimate sparring partner for him. You know what I mean? So it's a very unusual situation, very, very unusual. And, you know, obviously all the advantages are in Anthony Joshua's favor, except this one, except the mindset factor. Jake Paul has nothing to lose. He's got everything to gain. Him reaching round 3, round 4 is a win, in my opinion, and in many people's opinion. If Anthony Joshua doesn't detonate his right hand or a jab off of Jake Paul in the first 30 seconds, minute, and put him in problems, you know, some people would feel that he's underachieved or he let boxing down. You know, people don't consider Jake Paul a real boxer because he's got such a big profile on social media and he's got that background that he's come from. But he's dedicated.
David Hayes shared another view, saying that Paul might be underestimating what it takes to face a real elite fighter. Hayes suggested Paul could be counting on his past experiences with allegedly staged fights to think he can handle Joshua easily. But Joshua has reportedly rejected any scripted deals and is determined to make the fight a true contest. Hay emphasized that this creates a big challenge for Paul because he is now up against a skilled and genuine opponent instead of someone who might go along with him for money or attention.
Which doesn't count. It's like, well, it kind of does count. If I have you working out on the mitts from a year ago, and I have a new tape today, and I can juxtapose those, I actually can see some timing. I actually can see some speed. I actually can see some footwork. I can see some power, and I can compare it. Now, Jake is in a wildly difficult spot. Boxing is unlike, by example, track and field. Track and field is all about personal records. You do not need to be faster than the guy standing next to you. Right? Now you can win and you can get trophies on that, but it's not actually your goal that your coach is working on you with. You just today want to be faster, throw further, jump higher than a previous version of yourself. Boxing doesn't work that way. It is straight. It doesn't matter how good you are. It is 100% comparative to how good is this guy. I understand that. But as human beings, we have to start somewhere. And I think there are many things that are going to be wins for Jake. I do not subscribe to the idea. Now he does. He will not agree with me, but an older version of himself, as he looks back, will see that Chael makes a very fair point. There's a number of things that are going to be wins or not for Jake. Now, Joshua's got one. Crush that man, get your hand raised. That's it. Well, I don't see it like that for Jake. I don't see it like that. And I know you guys don't either. I know you don't, because so many people that are predicting this fight won't even happen. Or that are predicting if this fight happens, these guys are going to be nice to each other. What does this word exhibition mean? Right? There's all these things where you're trying to take away, and you're not necessarily wrong. If Jake shows up for this fight,
he has committed himself to boxing for the past 5 to 6 years while actively competing. Critics like Chael Sonnen give an unfiltered view of Jake Paul's fights with no sugarcoating. Sonnen stresses that when you compare Jake to Anthony Joshua, there is simply no contest. Even with all the training videos online, Jake still looks more like a student than a true contender. Sonnen points out that the clips only show his lack of experience, proving he is still learning the basics instead of preparing to face a seasoned former heavyweight champion. According to Sonnen, the difference in skill power and ring IQ is obvious, making it clear that Jake is not ready to compete with someone of Joshua's level. Watch Jake closely.
Great. For someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade, he has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember what happened in the Tommy.
He lost a close decision, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight, though. He's a good boxer. If he wasn't a YouTuber, people would be way more impressed with him.
Yeah.
The problem is he was like a famous kid, and then no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
But
and then he started too with like more spectacle-ish fights. People were like, "Oh, this is you." He fought, Nate Robinson, like a basketball player.
But the thing is, he knocked Nate Robinson
He knocked him
dead.
the fuck out.
And
yeah.
it's the way he did it that I was trying to tell people. I'm like, no. That was skillful. So like there's like boxing matches where you see two guys just slugging it out, one guy lands a punch, and yeah, he landed a good punch. What Jake did is he slid back and landed a punch.
Yeah.
It's like the athleticism along with the intelligence, the technique. I'm like, he's not even doing it that long. And he's also hyper competitive, even though he's wealthy.
Yeah.
Like you would assume that wealth would take away your drive for
But
competition.
it hasn't. Yeah.
He's also nuts, right? Just
Yeah.
the fact that he's willing to fight the two-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
A guy who's gigantic in his prime, built like a Greek god.
Yeah.
And you're going to stand, and he's a one-punch killer. And you're going to stand in front of that guy, and he avoided shots till the 6th round. He just started getting tired.
Yeah, his movement in that fight was crazy.
It was very good.
Yeah,
it was very good.
He was really keeping him moving around the whole ring, and then
you can't afford to get tired. That's the thing is, like, he gets tired in a lot of his fights in the later rounds. You should really sort that out. Because if he had a much bigger gas tank, like if he was training with like some of these elite world-class strength and conditioning coaches and just worked on his cardio, he'd be beating way more guys.
Even with all the controversies, people are still betting real money on this fight. The wagers themselves have become part of the debate around the Paul versus Joshua matchup. Fans, casual bettors, and even some well-known figures have been placing bets, which adds to the questions about whether this fight is a true sporting contest or just a show. However, Joe Rogan responded to Jake Paul getting knocked out by Joshua by giving credit where it was due. He said it was genuinely impressive that Jake lasted 6 full rounds against a proven heavyweight like Joshua. Rogan noted that many critics overlook the huge gap in experience, power, and ring IQ between a YouTuber turned boxer and a former world champion. While the knockout was expected, Rogan highlighted that lasting that long showed toughness, discipline, and real conditioning, even if it did not close the skill gap. For someone who has been boxing less than 10 years, that was a strong performance.
With a bomb, breaks his jaw in 2 places. The thing is, I would hope that he recognizes is right now he's doing great and he's only, whatever he is, 28. There's a price that you pay that is not worth it. And that price is a severe brain imbalance that's going to lead you to addiction. That was real damage. The inside of your head, there's a lot of damage going on in there too. If he doesn't have your respect after that fight, that guy did great for someone who's been boxing for like...
Rogan said that Paul showed real toughness in the fight, but warned that taking hits like the one that broke his jaw in 2 places can cause lasting damage and is not worth repeating. He stressed that the physical and mental cost in combat sports often outweighs money or fame and urged Paul to prioritize his future health over chasing bigger fights. Rogan reminded him that repeated injuries can lead to brain problems and depression, and suggested he thinks seriously about retiring early instead of risking more harm.